Good morning. If you are finding this at the morning time, actually, it's a lunchtime lineup thing for me. And I stumbled across this and I thought, I know. It'd be easier just to hop into some easy music and start enjoying ourselves. But if you checked out the Harry Mack, where the lesser keys of Solomon came up, it got interesting. I'm just pointing out that been ranting about that say influences in music and thinking since started doing reactions. So it's par for the course to point this out. I didn't know about the connection to, let's say, Luciferianism and Marx. And it turns out we're going to go with the segment. I down in the description's a link to the original. You want to check out the whole thing. I'm not trying to endorse anybody because I think Peterson gets some people's panties in a bunch. I don't know. Jock's all itchy, if you will. I'm just saying he gets people worked up. I don't know. I've actually I like a lot of his. I like listening to him speak. I do. And I didn't know about this subject. And I thought we would check out this part about this letter from Marx's father.
The monster of 10,000 devils, he describes him. And the letter from his father is which was written in 1837, a year before his father died. So his father writes to him, March 2nd, 1837. Carl, at times my heart delights in thinking of you and your fortune, and yet at times I cannot rid myself of ideas which arouse in me sad forebodings and fear when I am struck as if by lightning by the thought, is your heart in accord with your head, your talents? Has it room for the earthly but gentler sentiments which in this veil of sorrow, it's a beautiful letter in many ways, are essentially consoling for a man of feeling? And then this question from the father of Karl Marx to his at this point, 18-year-old son. And since that heart, Carl, is obviously animated and governed by a demon, not granted to all men.
So when I listen to this, I just want to go back because at the Harry Mack, the winemaking person, just a winemaker there on Omegle, brings up how to bind and control demons as a jazzy side project for one's existence. And I didn't actually realize till I heard this that they're tied together. And sure, I guess all that ranting and raving about the, let's say, traditional family-based structure that supported humanity the longest, it really was. It's all tied together to destroy. Man, what were the demons that he conjured and controlled whispering in his ear, I guess? Because it seems like his own father kind of realized it. And I just think it's funny because we heard a modern person talking about these ideas and their value just last week. I think that's so okay. I think it's heartbreaking, but for sake of argument, we're gonna go with hilarious, and maybe it's lifting the veil a little. Maybe it's looking in and seeing the crazy madman wizard behind the curtain controlling everything, and their intentions were poor, always. Because the intentions were always to destroy the thing you despise, and that's probably the normality of human existence. Left to our own devices, very few of us want to bash each other's heads in with rocks. And that's problematic to the people who want to shake it up, huh? I guess going with old Satan's a good way to go if you're trying to change the world. I think it's hilarious because, been bitching about it for 3 years now. That the influence, sure, it looks cool. Oh, you're so dark and edgy. But what, do you really support the human trafficking and the horrors that go along with your ideology? Because I denounce any, Christian power structure that would hurt people or hide monsters within its system. Its system's corrupt too. But yeah, I've been harping about that since the beginning. But pretending that, the light bringer is somehow the answer when controlling demons is part of the mix. Just, yeah, effing hilarious.
Marks to his at this point 18-year-old son. And since that heart, Carl, is obviously animated and governed by a demon, not granted to all men, is that demon heavenly or Faustian? Will you ever, and that is not the least painful doubt of my heart, will you ever be capable of truly human domestic happiness?
You don't have...
No! Sorry, that was saying somehow the pharmaceutical industry can fix what I should fix through exercise, diet, and proper lifestyle choices. I should just take a pill instead. That's the easier one. Just take a pill. Do not commit to anything that will help you. Take a pill instead. I wonder where I rant and rave about advertising. As always, I'm too cheap to pay for ad blocker, so the free one don't work no more.
Domestic happiness. Will, and this doubt has no less tortured me since I have come to love a certain person like my own child. Will you ever be capable of imparting happiness to those immediately around you? By the way, the answer was no.
Yeah.
Right?
So I found this to be the exact same question I've posed, but just, a lot better designed by Karl Marx's father. Who knew? But it turns out what I read between the lines there and here is there's a system that creates happiness observable to all who wish to look. And then those who wish to rock that system and change it because somehow it disgusts them. I don't know. It's good. Maybe you want pure pleasure all the time. Maybe the idea of having responsibility is abhorrent to you. It's like, oh, I don't want to do anything. Sit under a tree and smoke dope all day. Someone will take care of me. I don't know. I guess you got to bind your own personal demon for that to come true. I don't know. But it sure turns out that these ideas that seem insane, right? They just seem ridiculous, like some movie subplot, turn out to be all up in the ideas influencing the world for real. And then I look at the whole, I'll look at the other side of the coin and your, Christian control, the Catholicism, and I don't see how it's much different. They got no sense of humor. I see right now they're more concerned about jokes than they are about actual immorality infesting their organizations. But there's the point. Oh, wait, I've been bitching about moral relativism since the beginning of the channel. It turns out, that little bad is okay if you think you're doing good. Oh, I'm good all the time. My the parish priest was doing that stuff. That's okay. We're 99% good. We'll ignore. No. That's the problem. It's always like we ignore the morally gray areas because somehow it makes us feel better. I just wonder what we'd feel like if we stopped ignoring the morally gray areas. I think it'd be interesting to find out. I'm hoping for that instead of the other thing that seems to be coming. I don't like that idea. But others aren't going to be happy until the whole thing burns. So who knows? Who knows? But I do now know that that the communism is infected with Satanism. Who knew? Oh wait, we all know now. It's weird. Now I'm not saying it's real. Like I think they go on to explain that the levels. Is it the indictment of the church that it could be, or is it more complicated? And the service of self that the morning star really demands. And then it's in my comments right now. They're always like, you don't need that higher power, Rollen. Just believe in you. Well, I do believe in me as a creator. As a creator. That puts me as close to those weird godlike star children as I can get. I am here to create. But what, you gonna knock me because I'm okay with believing there's something greater than myself in the universe? That there's no way I'm the answer to everything? I'm okay with being a little humble there. I can't be the answer to everything. No offense. You can't be the answer to everything. Now, if you don't need piles of therapy bills, something greater than yourself is a good place to start. It turns out that creates a release that, the crybabies do on a couch for hundreds of dollars an hour. I just vented to my creator as a expression of thanks and praise because I am allowed to create now. And then those creations allow me to receive benefits and rewards from the system, and I can survive. Weird how that works. Or I could influence and wield power and take everything I want. That doesn't seem as nice. But, I'm not influenced by Karl Marx and the devil. So I'm okay. I would check this link out if you're interested. I think it was very interesting. And what a way to start Monday. Ooh, that's a brunch time bonanza for you. Very filling. Later. I was going to move on to reactions, but this was in my feed, and, it's how the algorithm works. So I think we're going to actually discuss this first. Because on a channel, I don't want to join in on the favorite atrocity being protested right now. It's not my thing. Do I think those lives lost are tragic? Of course. But I switched to cobalt mining. I think that's as tragic. And I think this clip, maybe the AI is smart enough to know, giving me the options to continue on a train of thought. I won't play the atrocity game because of what. Now, you don't gotta. I like Thomas Sowell. I think he's awesome. I get a lot of information from the gentleman, and especially his quote channel is fantastic. And I used to be Young Turks. I liked the Turks a lot. I liked, I got nothing wrong. I don't mind Ruben. I don't care about other people's whatevers. You like what you like. I don't care. This is about the information, not the people delivering it. As the difference is, I'm not in a cult of personality. I don't worship the presenters. I just want to hear the message.
The number of Chinese killed, let's say, in 1 year, and by mob action exceeds all the blacks lynched in the entire history of the United States. And the number of Armenians killed in Turkey, during the First World War is greater than that. And of course, the number of Jews slaughtered on a number of occasions.
Yeah. In fact, I would double down and go, long live the Mongol hordes, but because we listen to the Who and Otaken and other Mongol Siberian tribal people's music, And then you really want to get? I looked into the amount of conquest Genghis Khan did. Look at that map. Who's crying? Honestly, I mean, it looks like that whole region should be looking for reparations from the Mongols. Oh, wait. That's the problem, isn't it? It gets too complicated, and really the reparations are really just to destroy a culture currently, or a system currently, or an idea currently, because it turns out we don't have a time machine? Huh. Gosh, who knew? Who knew we couldn't go back and get revenge on our great-great-grandfathers?
In Turkey, during the First World War, is greater than that. Of course, the number of Jews slaughtered on a number of occasions in history, even before the Holocaust, is greater than that. So that the question is, why this particular kind of people are the targets of so much venomous hatred?
Part of the problem here, and this is an old clip that we showed you, I think once or twice over the last year or so, is that so much of what has happened on the left is the left are obsessed with victims or perceived victims, right? So if you are a minority, you are...
So on the channel, I talk about the check boxes. When I'm talking about checking the check boxes, I'm trying to simplify this idea of victimhood mentality. It's sad I'm missing appendages. Oh, it's sad I wasn't granted, an oak tree. Oh, it's sad I had calcium deposits on my knees when I was young. Or I overcame all of those things and it turned out to be this person I am today. And what do I choose? Do I choose to check the boxes or learn from the life lessons? And because we can't find, once again, I revert to this every time, but because we can't find any employees right now, did 2 entire generations get taught just to give up? Because, man, nobody's had it tough. Not compared to, let's say, artisan cobalt miners. They got it really tough.
Victims or perceived victims, right? So if you are a minority, you are supposed to be a victim. Now, there's several
I'm not.
groups,
I'm an oppressor.
but most notably the Jews who don't fit into that, because Jews who have been oppressed and pogromed and holocausted and gone...
I would argue the Chinese in America fit into that too. Koreans, a lot of Asian groups that succeed family growth and just said, fuck it, we got to move on. Yep. Great-grandpappy died building the railroad. And some gold magnate, he benefited from it. Damn it! But our chain of Chinese restaurants kind of a big fuck you to him, so we win. I mean, it's like people who cry about they say the conquest of America and Indian treatment. Now I'm looking over there. The sovereign nations are getting marijuana. So the gambling, the marijuana. It turns out it looks like the payday showed up. I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's funny because we were just talking about socialism and Marx and the devil, and you could go find 1,000 hours on the reservation system being one of the most corrupt examples of socialism there is. Someone's living good in there. It's just not the majority of people. But someone's got the big house and the big payday. Funny how that works. When there's examples of supposed to be, socialistic and communal ideas, how come every place where communal ideas are supposed to be propagated, there's a person living in the big house at the top of the hill? I'm just saying, there could be the problem. That you can't have it. If there's always someone who thinks there's better than other people, even in a equity, it's that whole, you think you do more. Do you? Because most people don't do more than a hardworking garbage man or construction worker, a general cleanup, a person who's doing just cleanup, construction, not even skilled labor, unskilled labor. Migrant farm workers. I don't think many white collar workers should ever talk about hard work. You're going to be taxing on your brain and all kinds of shit. Yeah, it's work. But is it hard? I don't know. I don't know. But I do know that there's plenty of people who have overcame adversities much greater than it's sad to get up in the morning and being on time is hard.
And gone through the Spanish Inquisition and all of these things, somehow figure out a way to be successful. That's largely because of family and culture and tradition and caring about education and all of these things. And that doesn't fit in the left's intersectional calculator, so they hate them the most because it's like, oh, you're proof that what we are saying is not right. We need our minorities to be oppressed. Here is Thomas Sowell on that.
Fascinating story. Because among the middleman minorities, of which the Jews are the most prominent, the hostility to these people in countries around the world is out of all proportion to that, to any other kind of group I can think of. In terms of violence, the number of Chinese killed, let's say, in 1 year, and by mob action exceeds all the blacks lynched in the entire history of the United States. And the number of Armenians killed in Turkey, during the First World War, is greater than that. Of course, the number of Jews slaughtered on a number of occasions in history, even before the Holocaust, is greater than that. So that the question is, why this particular kind of people are the targets of so much venomous hatred? Years ago, one official of one of the Jewish organizations in New York asked me, well, what can Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face? And I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
Yeah. And it would be better
official of one of the Jewish organizations in New York asked me, well, what can Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face? And I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
Yeah.
One word Jews themselves do in order to minimize the hostility they face. And I gave him a one-word answer: fail. Because as long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drive that home. Because isn't that the actual answer? You can take as much poetic license as you want, right? And say how you feel, as complicated as you can come up with to address the hearts and minds of people. But when you get down to the nuts and bolts of it all, isn't it the handout mentality versus the creator mentality? The self-service versus creation? And all I'm saying is you can serve yourself and your family by creating. The irony is that it has nothing to do with me making something, another piece of art, another video. I needed to create the work ethic, the resolve, and self-respect and dignity that allowed me to always be 10 minutes early, never miss a day. Don't get sick. Don't call in sick. Just keep functioning. Now, I've taken my baby out to dinner 3 times since I've been home already, and it turns out I got savings, and I generated enough of that fiat capital shit in my real life to take care of myself and others pretty easily. Do I get to move into do I get that Bugatti now? No, but my car runs and gets me to work. I don't need to do 175. I can do the speed limit. It's okay. Do I have to see myself as inferior because I can't do 175? Not at all. I see myself as a vehicle owner, a homeowner, a contributing member of society, a valuable member of a community, and someone willing to provide a service to others that they actually want and desire. They like being able to pay someone to take care of the responsibility of making them a dinner they can safely eat without getting sick. Half the places I go, I'm not even sure they're rinsing the soap off the cutlery. I'm just saying, what you can create are the skill sets within yourself to overcome the adversities that you yourself or your peoples have suffered from. And I'm a junkie ex-con, 18 felony points. And I'm on the best timeline, the best subplot story arc of my life at 55. Fuck anybody who just gives up and quits. No offense, but that is just dumb.
As long as you succeed, you're going to be hated.
Yeah. And it would be better for Jews and everyone else not to fail. How about get in the game? How about care about the things that will lead you to success, like education, like family, like knowledge, like hard work, things like that? Maybe.
Wait, intangibles? Wait. What makes a person are the intangibles that are actually quantifiable, measurable, but you just can't buy in like a box or bulk. You can't get it in a can. There's no can of self-respect. No gallon bag of dignity. But the more of those things you have, the more obvious they are to others. And then imagine a world that fills a group with disdain and disgust. Imagine a world where someone looks at you succeeding and goes, oh, fuck, that's too hard. Instead of all I have to do is emulate those actions to win. Oh, God, but they'll learn a new gambling style or a new cheat on a game to flex and get clout. But never how to manage their time well enough to be early and punch in on time and get, let's say you schedule at 9. How about you start working at 9, motherfucker? Don't show up at 9 and by 9:15 after you use the toilet, you're going to get ready to go. You've already failed us. Here, in the bathroom when you're looking at your phone and tweeting some shit out, look in the mirror. That's what failures look like. Look at yourself for a while and realize it. You're the problem.
If you're jealous of the Jews, you should emulate some of those things. Not that all Jews are great at all of those things. I know a lot of Jews who are utter failures. But
I have no, this is not a paid endorsement for conversion to Judaism. I am just getting lucky. This is a first view. It turns out that some truths are just truths. It doesn't really matter who's delivering them. That list of intangibles is more important than the Bugatti will ever be. Your visible self-respect and dignity is way more valuable than a penthouse apartment. Any scumbag can rent those.
Basic idea here is that we as a society for the last decade have put so much primacy on victimhood and minorities and all of these things that now the very people
Oh, shit. It's because I'm an ex-con. Because I didn't have any white privilege. I took that shit and pissed it right away by robbing drug dealers. I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to do crime against other criminals. I didn't take nothing from a normie and fuck them. They got it coming. They were ripping people off. They're like, they're ripping people off. This shit is bunk. That's crap. But they got premium prices. Let's go get them. Right? It was fun. No bullshit. But it's why I think the way I think. Because there was never... To this day, I don't fill out an application. You know how many check boxes that get my application thrown in the garbage? You know what I'm saying? You can't, it doesn't go away. It's for life. Like for me, they don't even, like, even though I'm expunged, they just look in the public record and it turns out the 3-county manhunt sort of fucks you. Yeah, you know, don't make the papers with your story. Yeah, they digitize that shit. You can find it. And it will haunt you for life. But I'm positive I just said I'm on the best story arc, best timeline I've ever had. So I know for a fact that all I did was apply myself. How is that so difficult for people? My God, some dads needed to give better speeches.
That now the very people who care, who purportedly care about the oppressed, are going after the people that they should be probably.
And here we go. If you would like to keep engaging in the struggles of the Jews, feel free. I'm cool. I think I got the point I'm trying to make. I don't play that, and I'm not going to take the guilt. And then every time I get those reactions requests, Immortal Technique, he's so good. But it's this borderline socialism revenge narrative. And then you read the comments and it's that, well, our ideas haven't been tried. But remember, you're the ones wielding the sticks, and you're going to beat those others into submission, and you'll live in the big house. You've already failed. See, you're going to think you deserve more because you ushered in the revolution. And isn't it weird how the generals live above the enlisted? I guess as long as there's an officer's bar and an enlisted man's bar, there'll never be equality. Now, when all the generals, lieutenants, when all the brass take the front row, when everyone in the big houses make up the machine that fights each other, then you'll see a fucked up system, because everyone will back strong leaders. You'll all want a Khan. Genghis Khan, I want that big guy who's crushing skulls to be our king. Because your king has to fight for you. You don't fight for your king. Do you die for your God, or did your God die for you? It's simple for me. It's not complicated at all. All right, now we're going to music reactions, because there's the half hour I needed. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Thomas Sowell. I appreciate you. Let's go.